Republican State Senator May Beavers of Mount Juliet is one of Trump's supporters who says she's standing with him, even after the release of a recording of Trump engaged in a lewd conversation about women with then Access Hollywood host Billy Bush.
We've all messed up at one time or another. He apologized. What more can we ask? You know, the Bible tells us we need to forgive, and he has asked forgiveness of the American people.
Sunday, Governor Haslam announced he would not be voting for Donald Trump, perhaps writing in a candidate. But Beavers says Republicans in Tennessee have no choice but to vote for Trump.
He's Republican, he's conservative. Who are they going to vote for? Hillary Clinton, or are they going to do a write-in and hand it to Hillary Clinton?
Meanwhile, the state Republican Party included harsh words about Trump in a statement released this past weekend, saying there is justifiable concern about the repugnant words of one candidate and the appalling record of deception of the other. Today, the Tennessee Republican Party said instead of asking people to specifically vote for Trump, quote, "We're encouraging people to vote their conscience." That's the same phrase that got former presidential candidate Ted Cruz booed off the stage at this year's Republican National Convention after refusing to endorse Trump. Cruz later reversed that stance. Beavers says the state GOP needs to make things crystal clear about Trump. Do they need to come out and say, you need to vote for Donald Trump?
Oh, I think, of course, every Republican Party, if you claim to be a Republican, you should be endorsing the Republican nominee.
News Channel 5 has uncovered evidence of a major disagreement among those who lead Tennessee's Republican Party. Should party leaders specifically back Donald Trump for president? That's the question. News Channel 5's Jason Lamb has been working this story and following a political party not clearly backing their party's nominee. It is a move that is really unheard of, Jason.
Well, Carrie, that's what political analysts are telling us too tonight. But what we uncovered today shows that those running the state Republican Party are at the very least not on the same page. But it could signal a disagreement over one of the most basic elements of a state political party, whether to specifically endorse a candidate for president of the United States. As Donald Trump today continued to distance himself from the Republican establishment, bashing people like Paul Ryan and John McCain on Twitter, the Tennessee Republican Party leadership continues to stop short of specifically endorsing the Republican nominee for president. Instead, this week in an email to News Channel 5, Tennessee GOP Executive Director Brent Leatherwood said, "We're encouraging people to vote their conscience." In fact, in the last 2 months, News Channel 5 found the Tennessee Republican Party Twitter account hasn't even directly mentioned Trump once in an original tweet, compared to 17 mentions of presidential candidate Mitt Romney from their account during the same time 4 years ago. A surprising find, according to News Channel 5 political analyst Pat Nolan.
I will say I have never seen anything like this in Tennessee politics or in politics I'm aware of on a national level. I have never seen a state party leadership decide not to endorse full-throatedly their nominee, especially not this close to the elections.
But tonight, we are finding leaders in the Tennessee Republican Party, members of its own state executive committee, who are directly contradicting the statements from party leadership. They say they want to see the party standing firmly behind Trump, saying his name and urging people to vote for him.
Well, let me put it this way. That comment, vote your conscience, is a position that was voiced at the Republican convention and caused quite an inflamed reaction from convention delegates.
State Executive Committee member Rebecca Ann Burke is referring to when former presidential candidate Ted Cruz said those words and got booed off the stage for not endorsing Trump. Burke says that phrase implies a split Republican Party. She says that's not the case in Tennessee, and it should not be used by her own party's leadership.
Our position at this time is not vote your conscience. Our position at this time is delegates, convention, and voters of Tennessee, you have told us who your preferred candidate is, and we are going forward supporting that nominee of the party.
Indications of disagreement among the Tennessee Republican Party, with just 4 weeks to go before Election Day. We reached out to the Tennessee Republican Party for an on-camera interview today, but they did not accept our request, instead pointing us to a statement they previously released, which said in part, every voter has a choice to make. At the end of the day, everyone should follow their convictions, and no one should be criticized for doing so.
If we had a little help from our very weak leadership called Republican leadership, we'd be sailing like you've never sailed before. These are weak people.
Donald Trump speaking out against the Republican Party today as GOP leadership here in Tennessee remains under fire tonight from some of the party's own members. And now, following two News Channel 5 reports revealing a major disagreement within the Tennessee Republican Party, prominent GOP members are calling for the state party chairman to step down if they don't see a change. News Channel 5's Jason Lamb has been working this story all week for us. He's outside the Tennessee Republican Party headquarters tonight. What's the latest, Jason?
Well, Rory, it's very clear now that Tennessee Republican Party leadership and some members of its governing board have clashing views on what to say about Donald Trump. But tonight is the first time that we're actually hearing calls for leadership here to resign over it. When it comes to supporting Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump, for days the Tennessee Republican Party leadership has said, we're encouraging people to vote their conscience instead of a clear endorsement. That's not good enough, according to Catherine Bryson, a member of the State Executive Committee, a board that governs the party.
The voters in Tennessee elected Donald Trump in the primary, and I respect their decision.
News Channel 5 has now heard from several committee members who say they want party chairman Ryan Haynes to specifically endorse Trump. Some are even calling for Haynes' resignation if he won't do it.
Yes, I would. For my part, I would remove Chairman Haynes right now.
Bryson says if Tennessee Republican Party leadership, including Haynes, doesn't endorse Trump, it could hurt the party. She says it could even be against the party's own bylaws.
Withholding the endorsement from our Republican nominee, Donald Trump, assists non-Republicans in the general election for U.S. president.
This afternoon, news of the clash may have reached the national Trump campaign as they released a statement telling all state parties to back the Republican nominee, saying all state parties and leaders should look to Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus and the RNC as an example of unwavering commitment in defeating Hillary Clinton. Bryson admits in any political party there are bound to be disagreements, but she says support for Trump as the party's presidential candidate is something the party can't afford to be split on.
This is a very important presidential election, and we really need to be showing more unity than we are.
Now, this evening, we got a new statement from Tennessee Republican Party Chair Ryan Haynes. It says in part, quote, we remain convinced that Donald Trump will easily defeat Hillary Clinton and win our state's 11 electoral votes. While that race is settled here, the job of the state Republican Party is to support and elect Republican nominees from the very top to the bottom of the ballot in Tennessee. I am of the firm belief that every Tennessean, when they follow their conscience, will inevitably be voting against Hillary Clinton. So, no specific endorsement of Donald Trump still. We have the full statement for you on our website, newschannel5.com, and we want to know what you think. We have a conversation going on right now on my Facebook page.
A new development for you. Tennessee Republican Party Chairman Ryan Haynes says he will not seek another term. It comes after a tumultuous presidential election race. Haynes had angered several executive committee members over his critical statements concerning Donald Trump. He was elected in April of 2015 after Chris Devaney stepped down. Haynes told the Tennessean he plans to move to the private sector.